breaking news from the world of glue sticks and washi tape. The junk journal police have officially taken over TikTok comment section. Their latest mission, cracking down on junk journalers that are too pretty and too full of stickers. According to their very official reports, a real junk journal must be made from scratch and trash. So today, in effort of restoring the peace in the creative streets and to avoid getting arrested by the junk journal police, we are going to be making a junk journal completely from scratch. Will there be trash and junk? Yes. Will there also be things that I paid for from a store? Yes. So I still might be getting in trouble by the junk journal police. So with the help of some supplies that I purchased and my mom, we are going to be doing our best to make the junk journal police almost proud. So let's get started with supplies. Back to you, me. Okay, I thought we should start with going over all of these supplies that I'm going to be using to make this junk journal. And it is pouring down rain if you can hear that in the background, but I'm hoping it just adds ambiance. So for the covers for the base of the journal, I actually thrifted a bunch of these little art boards. I think they're like 11 by 14 or something like that. And I thought they would make a great cover for my junk journal. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut this in half and use that. But art boards for the cover. For everything that's going inside the journal, I have a huge mix of paper. So I have a bunch of pieces of this little like brown craft paper. So I have some of these that I'm going to be using, and then I also thrifted a bunch of white cardstock paper that's 12 by 12, so I'm also going to be using a bunch of this. And in between all of the plain paper that I do have some pattern paper also, and that is just like a huge mix of so many different patterns and textures and all of that. And these will be like various sizes. You'll see as I put it together. So for those of you who don't know, I'm sure all of you watching already know this, but Joann's is closing. So I went in person and got like a ton of paper and different things because it was all super cheap. So a lot of this paper is from Joann's. To hold everything together, I went to Daiso and I found these. I was originally just going to get like regular binder clips, but then I saw these and they're technically supposed to be for a keychain, but they're like really thick and heavy and nice, and so I thought these would be perfect to hold my junk journal together, and I like that they're gold. So okay, so now that we have all of the supplies, let's get to putting it all together. Cause baby, like, ooh, it's all another flower. Okay, so I made my template and I made the cover. Like now I need to assemble all of the paper together in the order that I want everything in, and then cut the paper down to size. So let's do that. The sun goes around the state. Can't wait for the long day. In the sun when I found you. Please ignore my appearance. So last y'all saw, I had put everything on these clips and everything that I got from Daiso, and then I stopped because I ran into an issue. I kind of realized that, hey, actually these are way too fat for the hole.
That's what she said.
I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of like broke through some of the paper. It's a mess. So I had to wait until I got normal, regular binder clips because these ones are just not working. So I ended up getting these ones. They're 3 inches, and these ones are like a normal width, so I think that they should be just fine and not too big. So now I need to just like take all of the paper off of those rings and put them back on these. So let's do that. Okay, wow, this is so hard. It's literally stuck. It's stuck. Wow, that's awesome. So exciting. Well, this is gonna be a challenge. I'm gonna put these on the new rings off camera because that's boring, okay? And the making my own junk journal saga continues. So this video has been filmed over several weeks because I keep messing up. I keep flopping, I'm not gonna lie. First, we started off with these little key rings from Daiso. I really thought I was doing something with these, but they were way too big for the holes. Then I got these 3-inch binder rings and they were way too big. Like, look, absolutely ridiculous. And it's like impossible to actually use. Then I went back to Daiso and got these little binder rings that are 1.57 inches. So now we are going to replace these 3-inch binder rings with the 1.5-inch ones. It should not have been this hard, to be honest. It really should not have. So let's switch these rings. Okay, so now that the actual book is pretty much done, now it is time to decorate the cover. Okay, so for the cover, what I'm wanting is a cover inspired by those vintage scrapbooks, like the ones with the padding and the fabric and the trim and stuff. I think that'd be so cute. And I was telling my mom about this, and of course, she had won an award for her handmade padded scrapbooks back in the day. That woman has so many random skills up her sleeve, it's actually insane. So I've recruited her to help me make this scrapbook cover. So for supplies, I have my little journal covers here that we made already. So typically for the padding, you would use batting. Oh my God, it rhymed. But when my mom and I went to Michael's the other day, the batting was literally $32. I'm sorry, I'm not paying $32 for padding. So instead, I went to the Easter section and got this pack of pink felt for 70% off. It was like 90 cents for 15 sheets of felt. So what my mom came up with was gluing a bunch of the felt sheets together onto the board to create that padding look, which I think is gonna work just fine. Definitely a lot better than spending $32, in my opinion at least. Now, after that, I'm going to cover it with this red gingham fabric that I had. I also want to add a trim, and I'm trying to decide between these three. But first, I need to glue all of the felt onto both sides, the front and back of the journal. So that way we can add the fabric and the trim and all of that and go from there. So I finished the front, and now I just need to do the back. Thank goodness my mom reminded me that I need to make sure that the holes are on the correct side. So when you're doing the back, you need to make sure that the holes are on the opposite side that you did the front on, and vice versa, because otherwise you'll have two fronts or two backs. So let's get to gluing.
Before you walk away, I wanna know all of your secrets. Give me the time and place, tell me what do you say.
This is literally taking so long, so I'm gonna finish gluing 4 sheets of felt onto the back, and then I'll come talk to you. Okay, so my mom is going to take over for a bit and explain how she did the cover because she's literally award-winning. So here's the queen.
Hello. So, the first thing you need to do is cut your fabric to be just a bit bigger than your cover because you're going to be folding it over. From here, I like to use a hot glue gun because it dries super fast, and you're just going to glue those pieces down, and then we'll deal with the corners in a second. Now, to make your corners neat, you first pinch your corners together, then lay them flat so it makes a nice triangle shape and glue it down. Next, we need to make the second layer of the cover. This will be on the inside of the journal. To do this, you just repeat all of the previous steps, and that's what it looks like before gluing it together. Now, before we glue the inside and outside covers together, we need to add the trim. To make your corners look nice, you fold the trim around the corner and turn. This will create a nice rounded edge, and just repeat that for all 4 corners. Now it's time to put the cover together. For this, you want to use tacky glue and skip the hot glue gun for now because it dries too fast and you need to be able to move it around to get it centered. Then line up the holes and glue them together. I use clothespins to hold it together, but I also use a hot glue gun around the edges for a little extra help.
Okay, after making the journal, I am now surrounded by quite the mess, but thanks to my mom, we were able to finish the junk journal, almost. Again, the saga continues. So we have our finished journal here, right? But the 1.5-inch binder rings are a little bit too small, which means we will be switching back to the 3-inch binder rings. The saga of the binder rings has been so dramatic. It should not have been this difficult, but it was, so it is what it is. Hopefully you all are following along. So to finish this journal off once and for all, we need to glue in the eyelets and switch out the binder rings to a 3-inch binder ring, and then I will give you guys a little flip through of the journal. Okay, so here is the finished journal. The eyelet situation did not work out. The binder rings didn't fit with the eyelets, so I'll have to figure that out later, but it's usable, so I'm counting it as done. Okay, let me give you guys a little bit of a flip through of what this looks like. I won't flip through the whole thing, but just to give you guys an idea. So again, here is the cover. It's kind of padded and it has the trim and the gingham and all that. Very cute. She's a little hard to open, but I think as I use it and stuff, it'll get easier and easier to use, hopefully. So when you open it up, this is what you see. And it's a little hard to flip each page. Oh my, this is kind of a mess, but it's fine. This is the first page I did in the journal. I don't know, I'm happy with it and I'm excited to use it and everything. So, okay, so although she's not perfect, I am very happy with it. I'm excited to use it. I know as I use it, it'll get easier and easier to use because the paper and like pages and stuff will kind of loosen up and it'll just get easier to flip through and everything. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm excited to try it out. Anyways, I'm happy with it and I had fun making it with my mom, so that's what matters. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Don't forget to check out our Patreon and other social medias. Thank you so much for watching again, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, love you, bye!